Okay, now we're going to talk about the 3 solutions that are super helpful. They're going to sound simple, but I do not want you to discount them. They do work. Okay, solutions to blame, fear, and connection. The first solution to blame is acceptance. Can you accept that you're in a mixed faith marriage? Accept it may not be what you want, but it is what you have. Can you accept that you now get to choose how you want to show up in this marriage, and you get to choose how you want to move forward? So I see this in 2 areas, this acceptance. So I have friends and they're transitioning. I have a couple who's a mixed faith couple, and we go out to eat, and I see in their lives this emotion, this acceptance makes a huge difference. It's like a catalyst. You're able to move through things so much faster when you're able to bring acceptance to the table. I'm also a moderator for Mormon Mixed Faith Marriage, a Facebook group, and I see it there over and over and over again. When somebody in a marriage is truly able to accept and not fight against what's happening and just accept it, solutions come. Problems are solved. Compassion, grace are able to come back into the equation. So when you feel acceptance, you know that this is what's going on. Now let me clarify. When I say acceptance, I don't mean you need to accept your spouse's beliefs or change the beliefs or accept a faith system. I mean accepting the fact that this is a mixed faith marriage, accepting that this is your life, this is your marriage, this is your spouse, this is what's happening. Accepting that, and when you're able to be in that space of acceptance, then you're able to find solutions. All those decisions, what to do about Sunday and coffee and, in-laws and reunions and all of that, it becomes so much easier. The solutions come when we're able to really access acceptance. Because when we can just relax into our life instead of fight against it, it's just easier. It just is. Okay, solution for fear. Courage. Courage. Now, courage, a lot of people are like, yeah, courage sounds great. Courage doesn't feel good. I want to warn you. Courage means you're going to be uncomfortable. Courage means that things are not going to be easy or painless. That's why you need courage, right? But courage is what drives us when we believe it's worth it, right? When we believe it's worth it to keep showing up despite hurt, despite blame, despite disconnection, we keep showing up. We need courage in order to do that, in order to keep showing up. And where I see this the most is the courage necessary to communicate. Okay, so let me tell you about this. 2 different angles. The non-believing and the believing. So for the transitioning spouse, it takes courage. You really have to develop that in order to show up and talk. Tell them what's going on. Tell them what you're thinking, what you're experiencing, what you're feeling. I'm not talking about complicated communication techniques. I just mean tell them. So I'll tell you a quick story. Going through my faith transition, and I'm reevaluating everything. I'm reevaluating so many things. One thing I reevaluated, we had a rule that we don't ride bikes on Sunday. And I thought to myself, it's time to change this. And I didn't tell my husband. And one day he came home and the kids are riding bikes on Sundays. He was really frustrated. Okay, he really felt hurt and betrayed, and rightly so, because I didn't have the courage to talk to him about it. Now, it didn't mean I needed to seek his permission. It didn't mean any of that, but I didn't have the courage to even open it up for discussion. All right? Takes courage. And on the other side, for the believing spouse, it can take a great deal of courage to listen, to hear the doubts, to hear the fears, to hear the concerns, to hear the reasons for the faith transition. It can take so much courage to hear that, hold that space, and to listen. It takes a great deal of courage. The reason courage is so critical, other than plain up communication, is because if you study Brene Brown's work at all, she talks about vulnerability. And vulnerability is basically showing up as our truly who we are. And it takes so much courage to do that. It takes a great deal, but vulnerability is also the birthplace of love, connection, and joy, and all those things we want in our marriage. Courage. Okay, solution for disconnection. Disconnection. It's just that simple. We get in our own heads so much. We get in our own pain and we forget our partner's in pain too. We forget our partner's hurting too. And we can go totally blind to building bridges, to affirming the relationship, to reaching out. We just lose it. We lose that ability. So connection is something that we have to keep building on. It doesn't just happen on its own. It needs consistent, it needs nurturing, and it needs daily attention over and over and over and over. And a lot of times when we get into fear and blame and hurt, disconnection is the casualty. It's the casualty. Some thoughts that can be really helpful to help us be willing to build the connection are things like, I'm willing to keep trying. I'm willing to be rejected. I'm willing to fail. I'm willing to be bad at this. I'm willing to learn how to create a new relationship. I'm willing to keep reaching out no matter what. Then we can start to feel connected. And then when we're really feeling connection, then we show up quite differently. We show up quite differently in our relationship. We start to do things that actually help the relationship, right? So like for instance, John Gottman teaches about soft starts. When we're really, we're committed and we're determined and we're willing to keep showing up no matter what, because we want that connection and we want that as the end result. Then we do things like, we'll use soft starts. We'll open up subjects of conversation, which takes courage, right? But we'll do it in an effective way. So instead of just being like, we need to talk about this, we have to do it today, which can be a little off-puttish for some people. We may say, I know this has been really hard. I'd like to hear what you've been going through. Or I know that you've been hurting. Can you tell me about it? Or I know I haven't given you much support here and I'm sorry. Can you tell me how you're feeling? Or you're so important to me that I want to tell you about. Or our marriage is so important to me, I want to talk to you about. And these types of things, when we're feeling connected, these just happen. It's so much easier to use these more effective ways of communicating and interacting. And then the result, and let me give you another one, is if we want to feel connection, we really want to develop that, and we need to tell ourselves thoughts that help us feel connected. I choose my spouse because, and then tell yourself the reasons why. I choose this relationship because, fill in the blank. Remind yourself of all the things you like and that you love about your spouse, the things you appreciate about them. Because sometimes that just gets lost in the drama and we just forget to build and create on purpose connection. All right, a lot of times we start to focus on all the things we don't like about them instead of all the things we do. Like I said, connection is the casualty. And when you're really able to build and generate connection again, then that's exactly what you wanted. Like that's why you were suffering in the first place, is because you were feeling the lack of that. So when my husband and I got to this point, we literally went on a second honeymoon to celebrate our reconnection. It was fantastic. Something's happened, or maybe it's just always been this way, but you're now in this mixed faith marriage. Maybe you have to learn a whole new language, a new way to live, a new way to interact, a new way to think about your spouse, about your marriage, about your family. It can be really scary to enter into this unknown. It can feel like you're thrown into the deep end of a pool, no life jacket, you don't know how to swim, there's not even a lifeguard there to help you. Many people need extra help to navigate this time. We did. I especially did. I reached out for therapy. I reached out and I got a ton of coaching. Got a lot of help. We just, I would stay up late. I would worry. I would ruminate, all of these things because I needed help. And the coaching tools were super effective. I mean, they were amazing. They really helped us step out of the blame and the fear and the disconnection, and they really helped us learn how to create and generate acceptance and courage and connection in a really significant way. And so, because we were able to learn the coaching tools and implement them, right, today we're in a completely different situation than we were just a few years ago. It's a completely different place in our marriage. From my perspective, I feel like our marriage is actually in a better place than it was before we even started. The coaching tools helped us tremendously. And our friendship, I believe, is in a healthier, stronger place because of it. Now, trust me, if we can do it, anyone can do it. We were not in some fantastic place at the start of this. Our marriage wasn't flawless. It wasn't even close to that. We had a whole pile of problems that we were dealing with, and we just added the faith transition and the marriage transition on top of that. And it was really challenging. But you don't need to hurt anymore. You don't need to grind your teeth every time it's Sunday, or every time there's a baptism or a ward party or a family reunion. You can learn how to relax and enjoy your life. You can learn how to relax and enjoy your marriage. You really can. Now, I'm a life coach. This is what I do, and I specialize in helping people in mixed faith marriages. And because I know I offer trainings like this, I do things all the time to give the support and to give help to people who need it. It's so critical because it helped me at such a vulnerable time in my life that I want to be there for others. I offer free calls. All you need to do is email me, mormoncouples.com@gmail.com. We'll take an hour. We'll talk about what's happening in your marriage. We'll talk about what your mixed faith marriage looks like. We'll create a plan to really get you where you want to be. And I'm guessing that's a place where there's love, where there's compassion, where there's connection, where there's acceptance, right? And we'll craft a plan to get you there. It's powerful. It's real. If I can do it, so can you. And one thing I also want to say, it really only takes one person in a relationship to make a material difference. A lot of times we think we both need to be there, we both need to be involved, but most of our coaching work we did completely independently of each other. One person is enough to completely turn around a relationship. Email me, mormoncouples.com@gmail.com. Give me a few times that work for you. Let me know what time zone you're in so we can really meet up. We'll have a call. We'll get you the help you need. It's possible. I'm here. All right, wishing you the best.